Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Just Women Talking Shit with your host, Jacqueline Cotton.
Many hurdles, so many what feel like tests, but what I'm finding is that when you say, I want it big, that sounds kind of dirty. I want a big life. I have big plans. I have big goals. And then you say, and I want it quickly or as soon as possible. How else can you make room for all that without shit falling apart? Without some things dissipating and leaving your life? In order to make room for all that abundance that you claim you want, some shit's going to fall apart first. And in the moment, in finding and pursuing your personal legend, it's going to feel like a fucking test. And in those moments, I literally just got off the phone with my friend Nicole. And it's like, it feels like a test, right? And if you choose to see it that way, are you going to pass the test? Let's be real. Are you going to pass it?
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Just Women Talking Shit with your host, Jacqueline Cotton.
Hey, Jacqueline here. We are going to be recording a live episode of Just Women Talking Shit. Here's the funny thing is I was just live on here, and when I was recording, I completely forgot what I was supposed to talk about, so I just sat and talked about life for quite a while, and then I totally remembered what I was going to talk about. So now I'm back to talk about what I was supposed to talk about the first time, and that is pursuing your personal legend, what that means, what it looks like, and also overcoming the obstacles that you will for sure have to overcome because you will face them. So I recently read, when I say I recently read, I started this book forever ago, but I recently read and finished The Alchemist. Such a great book. And if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. If you're near me and want to borrow this, you can borrow it. But this book is something that my dad gave me whenever I saw him. I want to say it was when I was 18 or 19. Maybe anywhere from 17 to, I want to say 17, 18, somewhere around there. And I got to visit him. I hadn't seen him in a very long time. I'll catch you up real quick. My dad and I don't have a relationship. We are not close. I don't even know the last time I talked to him. It was through email. But my dad and I don't have a relationship. And so we left when I was 8. And I saw him two times when I was 16. And then I got to see him again when I was, I want to say 18, which is when I took a Greyhound. I took my brother and my sister, and we went to visit my grandfather because I knew he was not doing well, and I hadn't seen him in a very long time. So they were finally close enough and in one place long enough, and we were in one place long enough to where we were both at the same time, just a state or two away, and we went to visit. And since then, I've seen my dad once, maybe twice, and I'm turning 36. But whenever I was at that weird spot, 17, 18, and I got to see him, he bought me this book, not this one in particular. I wish to God I still had the original copy that he got me, but it was a leather version of this. And he told me, he's like, everybody calls me Jackie on my mom's side of the family, and it drives me crazy, but or let's see, on my mom's side, but my dad too. And he bought it, and he was like, this is the book that you need to read. Everything will make sense. Now, 17-year-old me did not give two shits about that at the time. I knew I'd get to it when I got to it. Never knew when I was going to get to it. Apparently, the time to get to it was when I was on this cruise. And I started reading it, and I finished it the other day when I was on the treadmill. And there were so many weird things. So many weird things throughout this book. Because throughout this book, throughout the time that I had to really reflect while I'm literally watching the ocean pass me by, and then not having this want or this real ability to stay on my phone because of being out of service. We had Wi-Fi, but the Wi-Fi was shit, y'all. And the only thing I was really worried about was my son, because he wasn't doing super well. He was coughing a lot, just kind of sick. Weather in Mississippi fluctuates, and so does our health. And he was experiencing a little bit of that feeling fucked up from the weather. So, of course, it would happen whenever I'm literally out of the country and I can't get to him, and I'm worried about it. So there was that. But outside that, I focused on this book in my free time, and I just was like so between this and the disconnect from social media and the trying to stay off social media. And I started feeling like there was a sense of relief for not having, I felt like I got a permission slip to quit worrying about business, to quit worrying about my clients, to just quit. Take a fucking breather. I had the excuse. I'd already gotten in touch with all my clients. Everybody knew where I was at. I was not going to be reachable, etc. And it just felt like the first time in a long time where I could relax. And in the relaxing, I found myself just really asking myself, what still makes you happy, Jacqueline? What do you miss? What would life look like if you weren't worried about money anymore, and if you quit worrying so much about building this company and start focusing on the many facets of Jacqueline? There are seasons of me. There are different versions of me. I have different personalities. I have different passions. I can play music. I'm also an artist. I used to paint. I love books. I love learning. I'm good with my hands, building things. I'm good in person. I'm a great speaker. I make people feel loved. There's just so many things I want to do. And I found myself at the core of everything was just like, I just want to connect with people. It's all it's ever been. So everything I do is me trying to connect with people. And in this book, all he wants to do is fulfill and find and fulfill his personal legend. It's about this young boy who's a shepherd, and he has this wild dream. And let me tell you something about the dream part. I've been having recurring dreams. I've even spoken to y'all about these dreams, wondering if anybody can help me decipher these weird fucking dreams. We can talk about the dreams in a minute. But he has this dream about there being this treasure that he needs to discover and find in the pyramids of Egypt. And so he sets out on a quest with his sheep. And along his quest, he meets different people that confirm his personal legend is to find this treasure. And so he is faced with adversities. He is faced with getting robbed. This poor boy goes through hell and back, but each and every time he's able to sense what God is trying to tell him. How can I see every single thing that gets taken from me, robbed from me, and that I have to recreate and do over? How is that actually a blessing? And in doing so, he learns the language of the world, the language that anything and everything understands, the language of the universe, the language of God, and that is love. That no matter what language you speak, you are able to recognize when someone is a harm, is a threat, but also whenever there is good energy and they're there to help you, and we can communicate in a way with nature, with animals, with God, with source, right? And it's all about finding and fulfilling his personal legend. He was thinking his personal legend was to find the treasure, but the personal legend was the whole journey to finding the treasure. And that in itself just blew my mind, because we tend to think that we have one purpose and we work towards that purpose and that one thing, that one big goal, right? And that goal could be to be a millionaire. That's a really basic when people are like, I want to be rich, right? I'm guilty of that. I've been too attached to that lately. And I'm finding that there isn't one thing that we must fulfill. There are so many different jobs, roles, so many different things that will happen along the way, that we will learn along the way, that we couldn't have learned any other way. And so it was really about understanding that the personal legend that you seek is found in the journey of getting there. That's what I took from this. And that if you can just release control, if you can release the job, if you can release how you're actually going to help people, if you can release the end, how you're going to get to the end result, and just see every single fuck up, every time you get a debit from your account, every time that you get frustrated or pissed off, if you could see every opportunity as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to learn the language of the world, instead of being so stuck on how man thinks is going to happen, you notice that everything is written by the same hand. Everything is written by the same hand. Whatever you call the power, the source, I don't give a shit what you call it. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what you think your personal legend is. We all feel that there is a purpose for our lives. And it's about figuring out what that purpose is. And the only way you ever figure out any of the purposes, that's the first thing I want to say, is that we get so stuck on what is my mission? What is my purpose? God will use you in so many different ways along the way. You will graduate to a different level. You will, one year, you might be, I'm going to give myself, for instance. I thought for the longest time, I didn't know what I want to be when I grow up. I thought for the longest time that I was a nobody and that I would always be the hired help, right? And it all came full circle on this cruise when we were finishing up with our excursion and they were asking for tips. And I remember being the help, but it's the way that Claudia, one of our tour guides, said it, and it was that if you find it in your heart to give us anything extra, know that we're saving so that we can do things like this, like go on a cruise. They hadn't even ever left their area. And it made me realize how fortunate I am, because I remember being the girl who was going behind people picking stuff up and waiting the tables and getting yelled at. And I remember being so shy and insecure, and I would fuck up people's orders and I'd get yelled at and I'd cry in the middle of the establishment and dropping things. And I remember cleaning houses, and I'd go into houses where I'd have to clean maggots. And I put myself in really weird positions because I didn't understand what good work conditions were. I didn't understand or really even recognize when I was being taken advantage of in workplaces, even because I was so used to people pleasing. But I was for the longest time a servant. I was for the longest time the help. I've been honest with you guys and told you that I dabbled in sex work, right? I've done some things that I'm not proud of. But along the way, making those mistakes, I met people that taught me life lessons I could never learn otherwise. I learned to read energy. I learned to keep myself safe. I learned my worth. I had to be at the bottom to ever get to where I am now. And there's still a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do, right? So all I'm saying is we tend to put a lot of pressure on ourselves, thinking that there is one final destination, one final reward. And it is the whole fucking journey along the way. So what does it mean to find your personal legend? I'm continuously finding my personal legend. I could be a housekeeper years ago. I could be a sex worker later on, and I can still be a speaker. I can still be a top podcast host around the world. I can still start my own, whatever it is I want to do. There's still time. I always think of Tina Fey. She didn't really start getting a start on her professional life until she was in her 40s. Well, I'm just now about to turn 36. How old are you? There's still time for you too. So what did you think about when you were little? I really want you to think about that, because I always thought that I wasn't going to get to be what I wanted to be when I grew up. I always thought I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, but it turns out I'm getting to be all of them. So when I was really, really little, I thought that my personal legend was to be a physician. Then it graduated to I wanted to be a psychiatrist or a therapist of some sort. Then later on it became, I thought I was going to be a professional and famous musician. I started singing gospel in church. That took me to other places. I started bands. I got to record in New York City, right? So from there, I was like, oh, reality set in. I got to go to college. So I went to college and I thought I was going to be a filmmaker, right? And while I was filmmaking, I discovered being a nanny. I discovered what it was like to work at a burger shop that was called Good Burger. It was a real thing. But I also got the opportunity to nearly give myself alcohol poisoning. I went through an entire experience that it forever to this day haunts me, so that I will never become an alcoholic again, ever. Now I know that sounds kind of scary, but it was a scary time in my life. But had I not experienced it, I would maybe still be an alcoholic. I don't know. So what I'm saying is, like, I've been all these things, and it doesn't mean that I can't still be what I want to be. So, like, is your personal legend? It's probably like a combination of things throughout a lifetime, right? The Roaring 20s, this was a fucking thing. So I used to think of myself as a chameleon in life. I would just this is the wall I'm on, I'm going to look like some brick. And when we apply that to, like, life situations, if I was around people who were drinking a lot, I'm going to fucking party. If I was around people who were really negative, I'm going to sit and talk shit. Basically, I found real quick how to fit in with anybody, how to be that fly on the wall, how to stay out of trouble, but how to also fit in when necessary. So that has actually served to my advantage to an extent. All the things that I labeled myself as and I put down on myself as, like, well, you're a boyfriend chameleon, or you're this and this and this. I didn't know at the time. I was learning to read energy. I was learning to build rapport. I was learning how to carry on conversation. I was learning to perform. I was learning how to shift my entire identity, which at the time was a survival instinct, or survival tactic, really, right? Now, you can read a room. I can read a room. I can tell who the most powerful person in the room is. I know who to go and speak to. I know how to carry myself with confidence. I know when to be loosey-goosey and have fun, right? And whenever it comes to, like, I can go and I think I could speak on any stage. Would it intimidate me? Yes. But I know now I have the ability to you tap into this other world. So, like, things that I thought were disserving me or not doing anything for me, like learning how to read the energy, learning how to read a room, being a chameleon so that I could satisfy and people please. Now it's actually a skill set that I can use to my advantage. So along the way, finding my personal legend, which I truly think is just spreading light in the world in the most authentic way. Humanizing being human. That's what I'm here to do, is to humanize being human and have fun along the way, because everything is evolution. Everything is evolution. You are forever evolving, and it is wild to fucking think that you could just fit in one box forever, that you should always stay the same. And that's your personal legend too. Like, book will change your life. My dad gave it to me when I was 17, 18. I'd keep going between 17 and 19. I can't remember how fucking old I was, to be honest. But he gave it to me and he told me, read it and it'll change your life. And again, being young, I was like, okay, just a fucking book, Dad. 35 years old, picked it up at the right time. The perfect time when I was questioning my own personal legend. God, what am I here for? Am I really supposed to be just only focusing on business coaching? I sure do miss the music. I sure do miss the feeling that I would get walking across the stage telling my story through music. Do you want to know what happened? I'm going to get really emotional. I proclaimed on Wednesday of this week that I was going to start playing music again, that I would start writing music again, that I would start performing again. A certain person came to my mind. His name is Chad Perry. Chad Perry, shout out to my friend Chad Perry. I thought of him and I thought, he used to have an open mic. I wonder what he's been up to. I shit you not. 2 days later, I go to have dinner and celebrate my stepson's 16th birthday. Guess who's there playing music that night? My friend fucking Chad Perry. I thought nothing of it, and I thought, whoa, what a coincidence. What a coincidence. He takes his entire 15-minute break to come talk to me afterwards. And I talked to him, and I was like, I really been wanting to get back into music. Ever since my daughter's dad died, I've just been on complete hiatus, and I may pick my guitar up like a fucking year. And it's really a disservice to the world, because I have literally watched people's hearts start to mend in front of me when they hear my music. And I can never explain the feeling that gives you when you see and hear someone say, I needed to hear your song tonight. I felt it in my soul. And that's what music can do. That's what speaking on stage can do. That's what your story in a book can do. That's what you coaching or however it is that you choose to show up into the world and seek and fulfill your personal legend, which your personal legend could just be to spread love and happiness. And throughout your life, you have different jobs that teach you and help you up level so that you can better serve as you grow, so that as you grow, you can reach more people and teach more people, but also hold the energy and have the capacity for all those people you help. If you could just see everything you do as like a little piece in the game and just learn from every experience, the good and the bad, you would see that it's all there. It's always been there. My love for music, my love for helping people, my love for healing, my love for speaking, entertaining, it's always been there. My mama has videos of me performing. Like, I've always been this person. I'm in full circle owning it, doing all these shit jobs that really you didn't want to do, but did. And because you thought you were supposed to, lead this normal life, go to school, graduate, get the job, pay off the debt, drive the lease, the cookie cutter home. Like, it's okay to admit if that doesn't fulfill you and that's not all you want. You can have more, and you can have the best of the best if you really want. That can also be part of your personal legend. Like, you don't have to scrape by to be a good person and to do good in the world. I can be abundant in so many ways. And so when I chatted with Chad, the weirdest fucking thing happened. He said, Brad's back in town. Or he said, no, you'll never believe who's back. And I was like, who? And when he said Brad's back in town, I was like, I don't understand. Brad who? He was like, you're Brad. And it was like this, it was so weird. It was like fucking flashback. Like, whole life that I completely buried down came back. And I said, wait, my Brad? He said, you're Brad, your old drummer, Brad. And I was just like, I genuinely, to protect myself, I realized in that moment, to protect myself, I had not allowed myself to think about this person because he left. When Finley's dad and I were together, he and I, the whole way we met was I played music, he played music, and his third cousin who I met thought that we would get along or we would like each other, and so she introduced us. And then we just got into playing music, but fell in love while we were playing music, and so we fell in love, we're playing music, we form a band. Brad was the drummer in our band. Brad was there throughout my whole pregnancy. I literally have a picture of him holding my daughter. We called him Uncle Brad. He was Finley's dad's best friend. He was my best friend. He was like brother. And when Finley's dad started getting more bad off, Brad left. He told me he knew that he was struggling, but I don't think he knew like bad off it was. But he moved, he left, and he went to Colorado, and we were super happy for him. We took some time and we didn't play with anybody. he and I played as a duo, and we did all of our gigs as a duo. And then as we started to heal, and it really emotional, because it was hard to replace Brad, because he was like I said, like a brother. And honestly, I would say it took a couple years before we ever really started playing with anybody else. But we formed a new band, and we started playing out and stuff. And the years I've just kind of about Brad. Tried looking him up, and I couldn't find him on social media, and so I just gave up. And it's almost like I guess wanted to protect myself in a way. And then when Clay died, Finley's dad, when he died, I especially was just like, I gave music up. I was like, I can't. I'm not feeling remotely inspired. All I will probably write about is death. Just here's my album about death. So when he said that, it was just like, what the fuck? He said he was back, and he sent me his number, and I sent him a text, and the very next fucking day, he comes over and he meets my husband, and he meets Finley, who, when he left, Finley was this big, just a little nugget, and now she's a whole 12-piece. And it is just wild how when you make the proclamation and you allow yourself to go after what you want, like the music. I'm ready. I'm ready. So much love and hurt and evolution is about to come out of me through this music. And he moved away across the country. I didn't think I'd ever see him again. To have my original drummer back. What the fuck? That is not coincidence, y'all. That is not. You cannot tell me that's a coincidence. It is all written by the same hand. And he even said himself, I didn't want to come back. Something just keeps pulling me back. And our minds are just, my mind is fucking blown. So here it is. I told myself, I'm still coaching. I will forever be a coach. But my love is my podcast. It is being in front of people. It is helping people. It is speaking. It is laughing. It is healing. It's me. I am the business model, and I will monetize that. If you love me and you love what I have to offer, you'll love my music. You'll love my coaching. You'll love the short film that I put out. You'll love my comedy. If you love me, I'm pretty sure you'll love everything I do. And if that's cool, if not. But there are so many different versions of me that I've been hiding for so long, thinking I have to fit in this box. And even coaching does that. It puts me in a box. I can't just teach about one thing and one thing forever. I've done that the past 6 months and I'm already burnt out. What is that? I have to recognize that part of my personal legend is to entertain. It is to keep it fresh. It's to keep it interesting. And at least I'm going to tell myself that that's why I have multiple personalities. Oh, that's because you wanted numerous streams of income. And so you got your business side, you got your comedy side, that's just what I'm going to keep telling myself, okay? You're going to come across like so many hurdles, so many what feel like tests. But what I'm finding is that when you say, I want it big. That sounds kind of dirty. I want a big life. I have big plans. I have big goals. And then you say, and I want it quickly or as soon as possible. How else can you make room for all that without shit falling apart? Without some things dissipating and leaving your life? In order to make room for all that abundance that you claim you want, some shit's going to fall apart first. And in the moment, in finding and pursuing your personal legend, it's going to feel like a fucking test. And in those moments, I literally just got off the phone with my friend Nicole. And it's like, it feels like a test, right? And if you choose to see it that way, are you going to pass the test? Let's be real. Are you going to pass it? So I always have to catch myself in those moments and go, okay, everything I've been through or that has happened for me, and in a moment you're like, this happened to me. Okay. Intelligence, Jacqueline. Can we practice emotional intelligence for a second? Separate, detach, and go, okay. Outside looking in. Taking the victim, taking the feeling out of it for a second. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to respond so that this all works out and my highest good? It's in those moments, man, in pursuing your personal legend, when shit starts to fall apart, how you behave, the decisions you make, however drastic or subtle they may be, will be amplified at that next level. That next level could, I didn't say next level was going up, could knock you down a peg or two, right? So I've tried to, and from reading this fucking book, and if you don't have it, get it, The Alchemist. Go to your library, get you a little library card, ask them where this book is, and get it out. Check it out. Get it out. Check this motherfucker out. It's so good, okay? If you could just take this book, take what you learn, and implement that into your life, I can't help but feel like everything will work out for you. And that's what I'm taking away. Everything works out for me, even when it seems like it's not. If I trust that everything is written by the same hand, if I trust that God wants what's best for me, even if it doesn't make sense to me, then why the fuck am I sitting here worrying so much? Why am I not doing what I want to do, which is play music? Why am I not just allowing God to work through me and seeing what happens? Because I'll tell you what, y'all, my nose is itching real bad. Hold on. I know worrying doesn't pay the bills. And I know that when you owe money, worrying doesn't make that any easier either. So like, if we did more of what we loved, what if that is the personal legend? Is going on an adventure to figure out, what do I like? Oh, I don't like that. All right, that's cool. I tried it. Oh, I actually really fucking like that. So glad I tried it. Because, or else, alternative is, like in this book, you don't pursue your personal legend or the idea of finding or discovering your personal legend. Then you become one of these bitter old people in this book that just sit there day after day doing the same old things, thinking, oh, must be nice. Must be nice. When we all have 24 hours in the day, according to man-made time, we all have 24 hours in a day. And if you're watching me on a fucking device, you are already at an advantage. So, this book, I needed it. I needed it. Where'd I put? Oh, I dropped it. I think that's all I want to say. Pursue. Because regret, it's a son of a bitch. I don't know if you have any regret in your life, but like regrets. And going, like, I could get myself out of my comfort zone to do things that were maybe a little embarrassing. But like, to an establishment to do a thing, and then I'm too shy to do the thing. So then, because like I was afraid of looking stupid, or I'd ask a stupid question, but really I wanted to participate. Like those little things used to drive me crazy. So now I'm like, I'm the first one to raise my hand. I'm the first one to ask a question. I'm willing to look stupid because I don't want to sit there and wonder what if, wonder what the answer would have been. Like, too short, man. Life's too fucking short. That's where we're going to end that. Life's too short, so go get what you want. Oh, that's like a cool little jingle. Anywho, I forgot to tell y'all. This, or maybe I did in the beginning, but this was a live recording of Just Women Talking Shit. And I'm really excited that some of y'all came and hung out with me. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. I love you. I'm really feeling drawn to just really see where this thing goes. To just take Just Women Talking Shit on the road. Just scheduled my first trip for the camper, actually. In April, I'm going to be visiting the Ozarks. So it would be cool if I could get an interview scheduled while I'm over there. Maybe I could interview my client that I'm actually going to see. So there's that. But I'm just feeling so called to really focus on the show. Just Women Talking Shit is meant to be a brand. I can just see it. Gonna know this show. Because why the fuck not? It's only a matter of time. If I don't give up, people will hear the show. People will mention it. They will see a t-shirt. They will see a bumper sticker. Something, right? So that's where I'm feeling led. Because I can also integrate my music into that. Integrate my coaching. And everything can go through the podcast. And I'm writing my book. I'm focusing on writing my memoir. I've got a personal development book that I want to finish, that I started, that I still haven't finished. And really want to start playing again. How cool would it be for me to finally get to fulfill my dream of going on tour? I have a camper. So how cool does that sound? It's all working out for me. It's all working out for me. It's always working out for me. I just was too in the moment, and in this, I need to sell high ticket, need to coach. That's the only way to make a lot of money, is to sell high ticket and is to coach. When the reality is people love that I do so many different things. And it almost feels like, and this is going to sound really cocky, but it's more confidence than anything, because I have grown my confidence tremendously. It went from here to big, from nothing to, okay. I'm too good at too many things to focus on one lane. Just too much to go around. There's too much goodness. When you're really talented, I don't think that you should play small. Silly. It's really not fair to you. It's not fair to your mental health, and it's not fair to the people that are dying to get their hands on all of these things that you can create. You know what I mean? That's my personal legend. So this is got a hole in it. Yeah, it does. Damn. When it fell, that's what happens. And now I gotta do one of these. I got took care of that. But, it's the focus right now. getting some sponsors. If you know anybody that would be interested in sponsoring an episode or two, that would be cool. And I want to get back into my love for creating content, kind of just showcasing, life and my thoughts and my wisdoms and even the things that aren't making sense to me. Maybe you can help me make sense of them, because I don't have it all figured out. I don't. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I got this shit all figured out. New levels, new devils, y'all. And I'm human. So let's humanize being human, and let's stick in this shit together and get what the fuck we want out of life. Nobody else can do that for us. I'm here. I'm rooting for you. If you're in my corner, thank you for being in my corner. Thank you for listening to this podcast episode, whether you watched it live on Instagram at Jacqueline Cotton, or whether you are listening to the recorded version on justwomentalkingshit.com or wherever you get your podcasts. I appreciate you very much. And I'll catch you later. Go out and find your personal journey, fulfill it, and just trust that everything is always working out for you, because it totally fucking is.